Remember when we were back in school, we probably had one big troublemaker in our class. We are hoping it wasn't you. No matter how many times they got punished, they would always find a way to create new trouble. It seems like NBFCs are that troublemaker for our economy. And the latest trouble they've created? Evergreen loans. Welcome back to Revolution Read On, a daily podcast where we break down one story from the world of business and finance. Click on the subscribe button to never miss an update from us. Here's your story for today. Yes, you guessed it. An evergreen loan is one that keeps continuing. But how? When a bank loans out money to a borrower, there's a risk that the borrower won't pay back the money or the interest, turning this loan into a non-performing asset or NPA for the bank. In simple terms, the bank just lost the money it had given to the borrower. Now, sometimes banks give in to sunk cost fallacy. They don't want to show a higher number of NPAs because this will alert authorities that they are not doing their job well. Plus, it will spook investors, which could cause banks' stock prices to fall. So, what do they end up doing? Simple. Give another loan to the same borrower so they can pay the first loan with the second loan. Frankly speaking, this is just throwing good money after bad. Think about it. Taking a loan to repay your last loan, and again, it'll only create a debt trap for the borrower. If the RBI and SEBI get wind of this practice, the banks are going to be in trouble. But some clever NBFCs have found a loophole around evergreening of loans to avoid being caught. These NBFCs aren't directly giving loans to borrowers who fail to repay. They are doing so through an alternative investment fund or AIF. These funds are like mutual funds but for the rich. They are private vehicles that pool in money from investors to invest in alternative investments. Hence the name. Why only for the rich? Because the minimum investment amount is around 25 lakh rupees to 1 crore rupees. Now, you must be thinking how these AIFs are helping NBFCs evergreen loans, right? Let's understand with the help of an example. Suppose NBFC A loaned 50 lakh rupees to a borrower company B. Now, borrower B is refusing to pay back the money. NBFC A does not want this NPA, so it asks AIFC to invest money in borrower B. But why would the AIF do so? Well, many AIFs feel that these companies could bounce back after a little help. Some AIFs even buy NPAs directly from banks because they believe they can redeem the money. To get AIFs to invest in the borrowers they want, NBFCs also invest some money back in the borrower through the AIF. The NBFC becomes one of the investors in the pool of investors of the AIF. So, out of the AIF's total 50 lakh rupee pool, NBFC A will put in 10 lakh rupees. Now, borrower B has received another 50 lakh rupees through which it can pay back NBFC A. But in essence, the NBFC just lost 10 lakh rupees. But ReadOn, it could get back the 10 lakh rupees it invested, no? Well, that usually does not happen. You see, most NBFCs tie up with AIFs that have a priority distribution model. Huh? The priority distribution model works such that one group of investors is allowed to either get an earlier exit than the others or have to bear a lower loss than others in case the investment tanks. This is usually done to lure in high-ticket investors by promising them that even in the case of losses, they bear lower losses, and in the case of profits, they make more money. Sounds unfair? Well, that's life. NBFCs are usually the non-prioritized investors' base in the priority distribution AIF, which means they don't get the early exits or the high profits. They have to bear the high losses in case there are any. Now, NBFCs are ready to take this risk just to get another chance at making their money back. But this Yudhishthir style of taking risks is not a good idea for anyone. Enter SEBI ringing the alarm bells about this practice. It has warned the RBI that NBFCs are misbehaving again and need further regulation. But that's not all. It has also put a stop to priority distribution AIFs for the time being. Yes, life isn't fair, but SEBI is. But how does all of this matter to you, dear listener? Well, everything in this universe and in this economy is connected. You see, the banks that you have your savings accounts in are the ones that lend money to NBFCs. In March 2019, bank lending accounted for 29.2% of NBFC borrowings as compared to 21.2% in March 2017. If NBFCs bet this money away and end up losing it, bank NPAs rise. This causes liquidity problems for banks, triggering ripples throughout the economy. So, NBFCs need to be kept in check. It's a good thing we have the RBI and the SEBI around to do so. Let's hope they are always the first ones to smell trouble and put an end to them. And for now, it's a wrap. Thank you for listening to this episode. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Until then, read on.